Good morning and welcome back to another edition of Research Fantasy presents our MLB DFS Pitcher Picks for Tuesday, August 22nd, 2017. Yesterday was a terrible and total disappointment. Gerrit Cole looked so sharp through 6 innings solid until he completely self-destructed. He's probably going to be unplayable for the next few weeks because he is in fact a mental midget, as I've said many times. And once he combusts like that, it usually takes him a while to get back on track. He's not working with a real-life, adult-sized mind. Chris Stratton was nice to see him pitch a pretty much perfect, perfect-ish game, except he can't manage to strike anyone out. So he manages to go from dominant against the Nationals, which means 10 strikeouts, to dominant against a very strikeout-happy Milwaukee Brewers team, and record 1. This is baseball, ladies and gentlemen. This is why we love it so much. So my fascination with fantasy lasted about 4 days with baseball. Now I'm back to really being quite excited when this thing is just done. I don't know why I play sometime. Honestly, if it wasn't for making these videos and honestly trying to make myself a better baseball player, it would be a fruitless endeavor, right? I don't win as a percentage-wise. I get lucky one time a year. I've said this repetitively, so my numbers are skewed so that it looks like I've had a successful year. But really, I don't know what I'm missing. How do I have all the right-handed bats yesterday except the one that's highest owned from the Orioles? These are seriously questions that I ask myself. It wasn't intentional that I left Adam Jones out of my lineup. It wasn't even a budget thing because, to be completely honest with you, I think that I had enough to put either he or Mark Trumbo in my lineups last night. And it never even occurred to me that Adam Jones would be a thought, even though Mark Trumbo has been absolutely terrible in 2017. Never once entered my mind. It's amazing to me sometimes how I had Tyler Flowers in. He didn't play. Pivot to Kurt Suzuki? Why do that? Now, I did end up with Wellington Castillo, so I can't be completely upset about it, but it still illustrates the frustration of, you've got to be kidding me, right? I take the one catcher out for the Braves. I'm sure he's going to hit a home run. Don't play the other one. He does. Play everybody from the Orioles with the right-handed bat, but Adam Jones is the one that really pops off. Don't have any of him. These are the frustrating, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm sure that other people did this. Not even people that used our picks, because let's face it, I mean, Gerrit Cole at almost 20%. He wasn't a chalk play, but he was a high-owned play. Manny Machado was damn near 50% owned in single-entry tournaments, so it wasn't like it's a total shock and surprise that he would have made our video. It's just the reality that it's frustrating when someone has a good play and doesn't pan out. And it's not just because it has 162 games, which is double almost the next highest sport, but the reality is, more often than not, the chalk plays just don't hit. It becomes curious as to why chalk plays are even chalk plays, because you're better off in baseball to identify what the chalk is, move on the other direction, because I really do believe that the vast majority of the time these guys crash and burn. So perhaps if we're able to identify the chalk, we can figure out exactly what the hell we need to stay away from tonight. Now that I've rambled on for 3 minutes and 46 seconds, but you love me for it, that's what I do. You should see me in real life. If I get worked up about something, it is markedly worse than this. I'm going to die at 50, and I'm fine with that, because I'm going to live the way I want. Let's talk about baseball. Let's talk about pitching. Here are 3 guys who I think on paper will look good, but assuredly will disappoint us. Jon Gray, 15-6 fantasy draft, 7K FanDuel, 8K DraftKings. I love Jon Gray. I make no bones about it. I think this Rocky pitching staff is somewhat underrated, but there's no consistency there. But then again, this is baseball. Gray priced at a decent spot, taking on a Royal team that still isn't really that good. I just think that with this game not being in Coors, it favors Gray and what he brings to the table. I'd much rather take a look at him than most of the other guys on the slate tonight. He's actually probably where I'm going to start building my teams. On from there, Patrick Corbin, 18K fantasy draft, 8,700 FanDuel, 9,400 DraftKings. I mean, the skill set has been there. The Mets a little bit of a less potent team after trading away some of their better players, but there's still enough firepower on this team to do damage. Like, you can't look at it that way. Yeah, they had to call some guys up, but a lot of times when they move guys up, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a downgrade. Like, we've seen teams move on from guys that were hitting 236, and analysts out there act like it's going to be the end of the world because a worse than average baseball player was moved off the team. Like, think about that for a second. Put that into consideration. But Corbin's been looking good. He makes me sick to my stomach today because I'm just going to be honest with you. I know that this is when he runs right into the wall. It's going to be, I don't care how good the on-paper matchup is going to be, this is going to be the day that he gets absolutely decimated for no other reason than I really want to play him. Chris Archer, 24K fantasy draft, 10-2 FanDuel, 12-4 DraftKings. I will say that it's a little irritating to have these slate-based pricing adjustments made. Archer has a good strikeout upside, but he hasn't really been overly dominant. Like, I just don't see there being a reason why he should be this price. If it had been a slate with Scherzer, he probably would be $2,000 less, which is where I feel far more comfortable spending on him. If anyone has the upside tonight, though, it's him. Literally. I mean, he's got the highest strikeout capabilities. He's in his, own stadium, taking on a Toronto team that can be shut down. I don't hate it, but I don't know if I want to spend up that much, to be honest with you, because I do like a lot of bats tonight. But that's just about where I'm going to be looking at. Once again, Jon Gray, Patrick Corbin, Chris Archer. Sorry for the lengthy video, but hopefully it entertained you. If my pain and suffering can cause you some humor, then it's all worth it. In the meantime, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. Check us out at researchfantasy.com. Pray for the expedition of the NBA and NFL season. Follow us on Twitter at Research and Win, and join us again tomorrow.